In this video, I'm going to share with you the number one secret I've learned to grow my business. If you've struggled with your sales pitches, marketing online, or in-person sales, then this is the secret you've been missing. Get your pen and paper ready, watch this to the very end, and I promise you, the time will be worth it and the secret will change your life forever. Just before we get into that though, I want to tell you a little story. My kid sister was in her 20s at this time and invited me to be her plus one at WestJet Airlines' 5th annual celebration banquet. It was a huge banquet in the large downtown convention hall, so large this event was actually spread off into 2 or 3 successive nights. It was just massive, massive thing. So picture yourself, it's kind of like a massive wedding reception with the large round banquet tables that you can imagine. All the tables had little bits of WestJet swag. There were balloons decorated and streamers, all in the WestJet teal and the gray colors, the corporate colors. So you could tell that they went all out. I wasn't an employee, but I felt a real sense of pride they had. I could tell that what they really wanted to do was to host a quality event, a great event for their staff. I felt appreciated, and I wasn't even an employee. So drinks started flowing, and then later as the entrees were being served out, there were a few speeches and talking about the financial success of the company and all that good stuff. Some employees were recognized for their outstanding achievement. But as a dessert course was being served, I was very happy to see the creme brulees were coming around because that's one of my favorite desserts. During this course, we got to hear some pre-recorded videos from various famous people offering their congratulations to WestJet and for all their success. And one particular video that always stuck out, and I'll never forget this, was none other than Canadian Prime Minister Jean Chrétien at the time. English was his second language, and as the Prime Minister, he had developed a reputation for saying inappropriate things and kind of getting his foot stuck in it, firmly lodged in his mouth. And this is no exception. So in this video, he refers to WestJet several times, I might add, as GEROS in his thick French-Canadian accent. So the AV team had a ball with this. They had a bit of fun, and they played that scene over 3 or 4 times rapidly, and it was like a total throwback to the old Max Headroom days of the 1980s, GEROS. And it was absolutely a crack-up. The whole room was just roaring, and I'll never forget that experience. So what happened next was, as the tables were cleared, my sister went off and did what most of the other tables seemed to be doing. They're all kind of getting up, hanging out with their little workmates. So there I am. I'm at this event, this big room by myself, and there's one other fella at the table. And he's a little bit older than me, probably about 10, 15 years older than me. And I could tell that he's the husband of the wife of an employee. And he clearly didn't want to be there. And so I thought it'd be kind of a fun challenge to try and break the ice and get him to talk to me. So I asked him a vague question about the event, and I can't remember what I said, but I figured since we're both there, why not break the ice, talk about what we're doing. Clearly didn't want to be there. I got like a one-word yep. I'm like, nice, okay. But I thought, I'll take this challenge. I'll play your game. So I paused for a moment, and I thought, okay, well, let's see if he'll talk about himself. So I asked, what do you do for work? Accountant. Oh, I was a bit surprised about his abruptness, so I could tell he was starting to get annoyed as well in his answer, and so I'm not giving up. But I thought I'm going to ask something else. At this point, he really, there's this air of exasperation with me, and I'm like, okay, I think, he even sighed before he gave his answer to the next question I asked. I don't remember what it was at this point, but I thought, this guy's kind of a jerk. You know what? Like, I didn't do anything to violate this guy. I'm just trying to be friendly. And then I thought, I'm going to twist the knife just a little bit. One last question before I abandon all efforts on this guy. But what happened next literally changed my entire approach to people and in business. So I asked this fella, I said, what do you do for fun? In an instant, his entire countenance changed. His posture relaxed. His face opened up like he was seeing a sunrise for the first time. And just then, the most amazing thing happened. He turned to me and said, I'm a cellist at the Calgary Philharmonic. I sit second chair, and I've been playing for almost all my life. And for the next 30 minutes, I could literally not get a word in edgewise. He told me story after story, each more interesting and intriguing. He talked to me about the places he played, who he was playing for in some of those audiences, what the various music pieces he was playing and what they meant to him at that point in his life. I was fascinated, hearing all these things he had done, and I could really feel his passion for music. But what was more fascinating to me was that this man was giving me such a cold shoulder this whole time. But he had all this excitement and this passion inside of him, and I was excited with him. I was even more excited because I figured out how to draw that passion out so he could express. And it's from that single moment that I've learned every single one of us has what I call a passion point. From that day forward, I have always remembered that if I'm trying to convince someone to do anything, I need to first find their passion point. That's the in. So, I'm speculating here, but this guy clearly didn't want to be there. He probably would have rather been home playing his cello, obviously. Maybe he was worried that an upcoming performance and didn't feel like he had enough practice time to be ready for his performance. So now I kind of understand that person more fully. The event that he was at with me, it was keeping him from the thing he loved to do, and I was actually contributing to that pain. I was annoying him. I was badgering him with questions. But by letting him expound on this amazing part of his life, what was a dull and boring night probably became a night that he very much enjoyed. And it wasn't because he was talking about himself, it's because he was talking about his passion. All right? And so there's a key learning there. And in my experience, I've had this lifelong struggle trying to figure out how to do sales and marketing at scale. In most cases, I'm very good at the one-on-one. Like, I can sit down and I have a sense of people, where they're at in a certain moment in their buying cycle, and I can guide them to where they need to go next. So that one step forward, and I can work with them. I can see that their wheels are turning, and I can speak to a concern and help move them forward towards buy. But one of my problems has always been, if I'm in front of the guy, great. But it's trying to get in front of enough people that will be the right decision makers, the people with the right kind of a pain. So I've never been able to find an epiphany. Like when I had this epiphany with this guy saying, okay, I now know that there's this passion behind this guy, I need to draw that out. But I've never had the epiphany of how do I get in front of enough people so I can do that more often. So when I think about that, up till now, I've also been struggling with the equivalent epiphany of, and that aha moment of being able to take a message and bring it to the masses. Like I'm doing this video here, I'm not working with you one-on-one. I'm speaking to my microphone and my webcam, and I'm sharing what I've learned. But I don't have that audience, that direct interaction. So for me, I feel kind of muted. I feel like I have a barrier there, and so I haven't had that transitional moment in my life, that pivotal moment where I said, aha, this is it. I can go for it 100%. And in the future, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how I found those both epiphanies very recently. And I want to share those with you because I've become very enlightened in my own view of myself and my journey. And I can see now where I made mistakes and how I can go forward. It's not unlike when I met this fellow at this banquet. I took an aha moment, like there was something that really happened here. And I've had those in other areas. I'm going to share those in future videos. But for today, I just want to draw this back to the central point that I'm trying to make. Is the one thing you need to remember today. All you need to remember if you want to have a successful business is the key to sales and marketing success comes from hitting a story with people that resonates to their passion point. If you think about your own self, you are a human being, I'm a human being, we're all human beings. We're all passionate about what makes us feel good and what makes us avoid pain. We are passionate about trying to seek our external goals, money, wealth, those sort of things. But what really resonates is that passion to nurture our inner desires. I want to have money because I want to be able to feel like a success and I'm supporting my family. I want to make my wife not worry about not having money at the right time to pay the bills and the house payments, all that good stuff. I also want to numb my inner suffering. I don't want to feel inadequate. I don't want to feel like I've made mistakes or that I've tried things and I've not been successful and therefore I feel like a failure. I'm trying to avoid those. So these are the passion points people have. And this is the message I'm trying to tell you, is if you can drive into that, you can hone into that, you will absolutely change everything you do in your business, and that will result in people finding you attractive. They will want to buy from you. They will work with you at all costs to solve those pain points. And so what I've learned from people is that from that one really simple example of an interaction with one individual is that everyone has at least one passion point that you can drive into. It's kind of like you're trying to crack a safe, and you need to gently turn that dial until the door pops open. And treasure, I think, is inside everybody. And if you can crack that code first, you can unlock that amazing passion that produces the humanity of that person. And there's value in unleashing that, because that uniqueness is what makes that person an individual. And so you see, if people are talking about themselves, it's because there's an inner passion. And if there's an inner fear, they're also going to talk. So there's this important dual relationship here. And the other value that you have is you can have if you can crack that safe, you can get that door to pop open. The other value is you have an opportunity to learn from that passion from that individual. Just like I did when that man was telling me about the prime ministers and the princes and the dignitaries and the Hollywood movie stars he played for in these amazing settings. And so you become a better individual, because now I'm sharing you the story about how I met this fella and he had this amazing passion. And so we can kind of work to join together as a human community, and by doing that relationship, we're going to unlock a way for individuals to connect with other individuals. And what that's going to do for you as an entrepreneur is that you'll tap into those passions in a way that will convert into a customer. And so you've got that in yourself. You've got your own passion point. So if you can expose that to other people who are also having a similar passion point, you're going to mesh very neatly with these people. And if you share that message of what you're trying to help them achieve in building up their passion point, you're going to have good success. So today I'm going to have a little call to action for you. Little personal challenge, I'd call it. The next time you are waiting in line at a store, perhaps at a bus stop or somewhere where you work, you're having lunch, and you think you got about 5 minutes, you could talk to somebody. And you see that individual, and I'm going to challenge you to just start a conversation. Ideally with a stranger, someone you don't really know. Have a conversation with them, just ask questions about them. Don't be kind of nosy, but if you just start up hey, how's it going? What are you doing? I see you're reading a book there. Ask them about that. Oh, what's interesting about that book? So you can kind of work with them to kind of ask some questions and see if you can unlock that passion point in that individual. I mean, they might brush you off, and a lot of people will, but it's a journey, right? Because if you're in business, you're going to be marketing. A lot of people just ignore your message and move on. And there's a lot of people going to say, there's something interesting here. That might be relating to what I'm passionate about. I'm going to listen to you further. So that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to say, okay, this is a sensitive area. Don't go there. Go somewhere where maybe they're a little more trying to sense out where they're maybe frustrated with, or they're having a moment of confusion or concern. Talk about how that your experiences could help them. You might be surprised what you learn about both them and their story and their journey, but also about yourself as you start to connect and say, I didn't think about that. You're reading this book. That's reminding you of a childhood experience. I had a similar experience with my uncle, and this is what happened. And you can form that genuine connection with that person's humanity. Once you figured out how to do that with an individual, you'll have that confidence to bring it into your own business, and you'll see more and more ways as you continue to exercise that. You'll develop your personhood where you can bring that into almost every conversation with your staff, your suppliers, your customers, your prospects, and it becomes a culture of relationship. And that's the difference, I think, between a lot of sellers out there, people trying to sell a product or a service, but they're actually selling relationship, and they're trying to sell to these inner needs, and that's what really resonates with people. And I promise you, if you find that passion point in others, it will change your life, and it will permanently change your business, because you're now a passion seeker just like these people are. Everyone out here has a passion. You've got one passion point you publicly or privately are all about. And I guarantee you, if someone was talking to you about that passion point, you would go all in. And if you just look through all the Facebook groups you're in, the Instagrams you follow, and you say, I like these things, that means there's something that you're passionate about there. And so I just want to call, to say, if this information, this video has been helpful for you, I just want to ask you to just share it with others, like it, subscribe, and of course click that little bell so you're notified when I have more secrets that I can share with you that improve your life and your business. Thank you very much, and looking forward to sharing with you in the next video.